Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here, bringing another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Saturday. And today I want to go over common help desk tech issues that you'll deal with if you work help desk. Obviously, if you're new to my channel, you know what to do. Rate, comment, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. So today I want to go over common help desk issues that you'll deal with if you work in a help desk environment. Obviously, this is not all the issues you deal with. It really depends on the company. Really depends on the responsibilities. Really depends on a lot of different things. So for me, number one, if you're working help desk, if you have access to this, you will deal with new hires. So sometimes what happens is, and this is not me making this up. Sometimes you will have where you get an email at the last minute on a Friday when you're trying to leave the office, and you get an email from HR. Oh, I have a new hire starting on Monday morning, and you're help desk, right? Like, oh, come on, man, I'm just trying to go home, and then you get this email that, yeah, we need you to set up hardware for this person. We need you to set up a username and password for this person, and we need to make sure that that person is able to log in and they're able to use their phone, their desk phone, and stuff like that. So if you're working help desk, you may deal with that. You may deal with random new hires coming out of nowhere. Like HR is not good with that, unfortunately. I'm not trying to attack HR, but has happened to me where they at the last minute they have new hires, and you have to set up the new hires at the last minute on a Friday night when you're trying to go home, and it doesn't work that way. Where they give you a new hire notification at the beginning of the week, instead they give it to you at the last minute when you're trying to leave the office. So that does happen, unfortunately. Not all HR people are like that. Just some companies are very disorganized, so that does happen, unfortunately. So that would be scenario number one, or common help desk issues number one is setting up new hires, setting up hardware for the new hires, and setting up their login and setting up their phone login as well. So that's number one. Number two, which is common in IT land, is Outlook. So a lot of people have a lot of Outlook issues. So you will see in a job environment where someone's Outlook doesn't work, they can't open Outlook for some weird reason. They Outlook keeps crashing because they have a bunch of add-ins, or they get emails and it goes to the wrong folder. It goes to the recycle bin because the rules are all messed up. You will have issues where permissions don't work correctly, where someone wants access to someone else's calendar, and for some weird reason the calendar doesn't open or doesn't work, or they don't have access to that calendar. You will have issues where someone is setting up rules and the rules don't work for some reason. Or you will have issues where the layout, like the layout of Outlook, like how it looks, the layout was incorrect and they want you to fix it for them. So you will deal a lot with Outlook issues. Like, it's just common in help desk. And you're not expected to know everything on Outlook, but you will be asked like to fix Outlook issues. That's totally normal in help desk land. Yeah, so that's another one. Number three will be Excel, and people are like, oh god, Excel. Why they Kevin mentioned Excel? Yeah. So sometimes you'll have Excel issues where it says this file was opened by another user, so you cannot open this file. Do you want to open it as read-only access? So that means that someone has it open somewhere else. So then you have to go to the sysadmin. The sysadmin has to shut down that file or shut down that shared drive directory, and then you're able to open the file after that. Or you have issues where Excel tries to open and it crashes immediately. Or you have issues in Excel where the user cannot open it because, again, they have add-ins again. So they have like Bloomberg add-in, Cabagus, or they have other add-ins as well, like Waterfall and stuff like that, or Salesforce or whatever. So you got to understand that in Excel, you may have to open it up in safe mode, and sometimes that fixes the problem. You have to uncheck certain add-ins, that fixes the problem. Sometimes you have to run a repair on the file that they're trying to open. That file cannot open anymore because the file is corrupted or something like that. So you can actually open up Excel in repair mode, if that makes sense. So things like that. You will deal with things like that. So that's number three. Number four is going to be termination. So sometimes when you're brand new to help desk or IT support, they let somebody go. Now you have to collect their hardware. So you have to collect their laptop, their PC. You may have to remove their monitors. You may have to remove their desktop. You may have to remove their stuff on their desk. It really depends on the company. You have to go and disable their account. You have to go and disable their mobile device if they have email on their phone. You have to go and disable multi-factor authentication (MFA) if they have that on their phone enabled as well. You might have to go and remove their phone number as well. If you may have access to Workday, you may not. So you make some changes there. You may have access to Active Directory. You make some changes there. It really depends on the company. So that is number four. You will deal with terminations. It happens. Sometimes people get let go, or sometimes people go and find other jobs. And you, as help desk, you have to go and disable that account. so they can't log in and do anything anymore. You don't want, the last thing you want is for someone to still be using their account in the company, even though they got let go, if that makes sense. So you want to disable everything, not delete, disable everything. All right. Number 5 will be account lockout. So we have these third-party tools like Varonis or Splunk or something else, right? It tells you how they get locked out, because sometimes people get locked out, especially software developers. I know because I work with a lot with software developers. They do get locked out like crazy because they remote into a box, and then they remote from that box to another box. Then they remote into another box, right? And then what happens is they change their password, right? And because the credentials manager, their password store there, it locks them out. So they have their old password store on the computer and they get locked out. And the old session, the database that they're trying to connect to, or that specific desktop they're trying to connect to, it still has their old password. So they keep getting locked out over and over again. So then you have to restart that one, remove the credentials from credentials manager, and then they're good to go after that. And that is not just software developers, that's regular users as well. So you do get locked out a lot. Like sometimes they get locked out because they fat fingered their password. Sometimes they get locked out because they forgot their password. Sometimes they get locked out because they just can't log in. They log in, it says they log in, it doesn't work. They log in, it doesn't work because their password probably expired. They probably went to a vacation in Hawaii or something like that, and their password expired like 2 days ago, so they can't log in at all anymore because their password's expired. So you have to go and extend their password, which is, I don't recommend doing that. That's not secure. That's not secure at all. Some companies extend passwords. Some companies change their password. Some companies just make you change the password on the spot. It really depends on the company. So yeah, so you do get locked out. That's totally normal. You get locked out of everything: Outlook, Word, Excel. You get locked out from certain things like your VPN. Really depends. Really depends. The common trend. You get locked out. It's a regular. It's a normal thing that does happen in IT land. Number 6 is shared drive permissioning. So if you're a help desk, you will deal with folder permissioning. Someone's like, I need access to the T drive. And when you're working with, excuse me, when you're working with a customer and you're working with a user, they're not tech savvy. So you gotta remember that they're not tech savvy, right? So they're gonna say, I want access to T drive or K drive or A drive, right? You're like, what the hell are they talking about, right? What the heck are they talking about, right? They're asking you for access to a certain folder. You gotta ask, like, can you send me a screenshot of that shared drive so I know what the path directory is, like? And then when you figure that out, okay, they have access to this. Who do I get approval for? So you can go talk to your team members, or you talk to your manager, or you talk to someone on your team, or a sysadmin, like, who's in charge of this folder, and can we get approval for it? Once you get approval for it, then you get that other user access, and that's it. And obviously there has to be a ticket for this, so basically they make a ticket for it, right? So the easiest way to do that is if they say, oh, I need you to give my colleague access to the K drive. You're like, I don't know what that means, right? So then the easiest way to do it is if you go to their folder and you type net use, and it tells you the path directory. That's the easiest way to do it. The other way to do it is by the registry. So if you go into the registry and you're able to remote into their desktop through the registry, it gives you the path directory of that shared drive that they have access to. So now you know what the path directory is. You get approval for that, and you get the other person access. Easiest way to do it. That's just my recommendation. So you don't gotta bother the user. You can just go into the registry. All right. Number 7 is distribution groups. So sometimes in IT land, you will be asked, can you create me a distribution group? And understand that this is not security. Security groups and distribution groups are two separate things. Distribution group is specifically asked, so whoever's in that distribution group, they all get the same email. So why will we email 500 people when we have a distribution group that it goes to everyone in that one email? So that's what a distribution group is in the general. And you'll get access to create distribution groups if you have access to that. Number 8 will be video conference setup. I know this is very random, but if you're a help desk, in some help desk roles, you will be required to set up video calls for C-level folks, executives, or people just in general. You will be asked to set up like Blue Jeans, Zoom, Polycoms, video calls, WebEx. It really depends on the company. If you're working help desk, you may be required to do this. You may be required to help a user with their video calls, like Zoom or whatever. And for some reason they can't hear the other person, or the person on the other side cannot hear them, and you have to go and figure out why they're having that issue. So you may have audio issues and stuff like that. So you have to know how to troubleshoot that and fix that. All right. Número 9. 9 is MFA. So when you're working with a customer, a lot of these companies, because security is a big thing now, right? So you will be required to set up MFA, multi-factor authentication. So they may use Okta, they may use Dual, they may use RSA, they may use a specific program or app that they need to set up on their phone. And because you're the help desk person, you have to help them set that up. So part of help desk is helping people with their mobile devices, helping people with their tablets or devices. So you may have access to Okta as a help desk person, not an admin, help desk person, where you could reset their Okta, or you could send them a new welcome email, or you could set up, stuff like that. All right. That makes sense. Number 10, it's going to be email setup. So in IT land, again, you will be in charge of mobile devices. You will be charged of setting up email on their phone, whether it's Mouse 360, Mobile Iron. It really depends on the email that they're using, or Intunes. Really depends, right? So you will be in charge of troubleshooting and setting up emails on the user's phone, and then obviously like Mobile Iron, for example, like you have to set up the certificate, install the certificate, trust it. You may have to go to general settings and go all the way down and remove the device management. So it really depends on the company. So those things are very important. And obviously for certain policies and settings and stuff like that for email, you may have an issue where the user cannot set up email on their phone, specifically email on their phone for a job. It's because they have VPN enabled on their phone. So if you have VPN enabled on your phone, you cannot set up the wizard or the email on that person's phone because they have VPN on their phone. Has happened to me. I work with someone that I was trying to set up Mobile Iron, and because they had VPN on their phone, they couldn't set it up, and it kept denying it. It kept not work. It kept like it's not working at all. It wasn't working at all. So keep in mind that you want to make sure that they don't have these third-party tools on their phone when you're setting up email on their phone. And obviously, also email on your phone, you may have a separate device. Like some companies give you a separate device, and then you could use that device for email. Some companies like, no, we're cheap. So bring your own device, right? So yeah, it really depends on the company. And that's it. That's pretty much it for me. Hopefully this video helps you out. These are some common help desk issues that you will see in your job. You may or may not see, but it depends on the company. But if what I'm saying makes sense, please rate, comment, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. Take care. Peace. Later. Bye.